Hey everyone, today I am going to present to you my final creative project. I have selected a piece of furniture and objects to represent our creators. So I'm going to explain the reasoning why, but I selected a specific piece of furniture in a specific era to help represent each creator. I compared Marion Milner to a healthcare patient recliner. Marion Milner was an English psychoanalyst, writer, and painter. And I compared her to a healthcare patient recliner because both deal with healing properties and comforting properties. Marion Milner used artwork, observations, and experiments to help her patients overcome and deal with mental illness. She used several different mediums as she just wanted to figure out the best way to help her patients. And the reason why I compared her to a healthcare recliner is a recliner as such as this one you would see normally in inpatient hospital rooms, physical recovery areas, and they offer a different position such as the Trendelenburg position, which raises the legs above the head to help with blood circulation, or there's orthopedic support where it can help a patient recover after having a hip replacement. So although it appears that it's just a piece of furniture in a healthcare setting, it's actually got healing elements or functions to it that can help the patient to recover. I compared Peter Tchaikovsky to a Louis XIV desk era, a writing desk. Tchaikovsky was a Russian composer, most famously known for pieces that were in Swan Lake, The Nutcracker, Sleeping Beauty. He was a very serious composer. He was very dedicated. He was also a pleaser from just researching him and his relationships and his dedication to anything that he committed himself to. He seemed like a very passionate person, very brilliant and talented. And I compared him to a desk, especially from the Louis XIV era, because the furniture created during that era was very formal. It was decorated, very tastefully done. It's a style that you actually still see today that's very popular and sought out after when people are antiquing. It's still a very classic design and style, as is Tchaikovsky's music. And I also selected a desk because a desk is made for working, and he was definitely someone that committed to work. When I was trying to find a piece of furniture that best represented Anna Halpern, I actually struggled with finding the right piece. I wanted to find something that captured her use of spiritual and healing elements tied in with her work, which is her dance. So I actually came to the Pueblo Indians and the wood bowls that they carve, and they're very intricate, unique, detailed pieces of work that have so much meaning and use behind them. Anna Halpern is a pioneer to the dance and performance world in terms of postmodern dance. She incorporates a lot of spiritual elements and healing elements, as is tied in with a Pueblo Indian wood bowl. The craft that it takes to make these bowls is similar in the craft that Anna Halpern uses to create her dances, as she's using them for not only instruction but for healing properties, and she works with people to learn how to heal themselves through dancing. The unique designs of the bowls represent spiritual elements and their heritage, as does Anna Halpern's work. Her form of dance represents spiritual and social movements. And one of the most important aspects of Anna Halpern in her life is that she used dance to heal herself from cancer. And the Pueblo Indian wood bowl is, again, used for healing rituals, and I just felt that that was such a great and strong tie there. So this is the only time that I used an object to represent a creator, but I think the Pueblo Indian bowl best suits Anna Halpern. Selecting a piece of furniture for Brian Eno, I knew that the piece of furniture needed to be something unusual and modern and contemporary. So this brought me to the Eames Lachaise. The Lachaise is actually a chair. It was designed in the late 40s by Ray and Charles Eames. They are a husband and wife architect, also furniture designers, that designed an unusual piece of furniture. It's a lounge chair that was designed to fit a sculpture, or inspired by fitting the body of a sculpture that was very voluptuous. And the construction of this chair made it very expensive and difficult to produce. It was later, about 20 years ago, later was produced. It's like a $10,000 chair, but I compared it to Brian Eno because Brian Eno is a contemporary thinker. He's a technologist that works with music to create different sounds and music that really creates a mood. He's most famously known for creating the genre of ambient music. So music that you hear in an elevator or in public areas such as a airport or a bus terminal. You don't realize it's there until you actually look for it, and you realize that it's needed and necessary because it's a nice, soothing mood pleaser. You're in spaces where you're waiting and you may not be in the best mood. So his music has a great purpose. He also did work with some of the greatest artists such as Coldplay, U2, David Bowie, Jules Holland, and you really don't hear his name too much. He's not a A-lister, but without him, you would have a lower quality music and lower quality product, I bet. So I think that the Lachaise is the perfect fit to represent Brian Eno. I compared J.G. Bennett to an Art Deco armchair. J.G. Bennett was a multi-talented person. He was a great creative thinker. It took several life events and situations involving many different types of people of social backgrounds for him to come to a place where he became a really deep creative thinker that understood transformations and so on. And as I studied him and have read about him, I've kind of gathered an assumption that he is a little bit of an unorganized, unsuccessful person, but still didn't give up. He still got up and got into the next thing. He would find himself in bad business dealings, people accusing him of copying him, getting into financial issues with monarchy, and he, like I said, he was in many different aspects of work and business, and still ended up being known for just a great creative thinker. The Art Deco era was an interesting era. It was born in the 20s, and it was coming off of these traditional, very ornate, detailed, decorative eras. And the Art Deco era tried to encapsulate different genres and styles, and then it was also influenced by different Asian and African styles and genres of furniture. So it's a little bit of an eclectic era that's got some really strong architectural elements and shapes and geometrics, and I felt like the correlation there really worked well with J.G. Bennett, and so that's why I chose an Art Deco armchair to represent J.G. Bennett. I selected the Restoration era to represent Matt Callahan. Matt Callahan is a musician, composer, and producer of music, but I think he would most want to be known for his work in activism. He is considered an activist. Matt uses music and has formed groups to help represent people in need, shed light on situations, whether it's a political scandal or a revolution in a different country. Matt used his music to shed light on that, and he has tried to create venues for others to come, as he is a collaborator and wants to work with other people to help share his passion for being an activist in any type of setting. The Restoration era was a short era. It was about 15 years in the early 1800s. It was mainly an era coming off of the Empire era, ending the Napoleon regime, which during that time, the Empire era was very majestic and kind of gaudy and super ornate, to a very distasteful point. And the Restoration era was a rebellion against that and kind of went back to some classical elements, lines, proper decoration and ornateness, nothing, super overdone. And I felt like it was an appropriate style to compare to Matt Callahan, considering the rebelliousness and the bravery to move away from one style into another. When I had to select a piece of furniture that would represent me, it took me a while to think about it, but Florence Knoll was one of the first designers that I thought about. Florence Knoll is an interior designer. She is a licensed interior designer. She really was a part of the movement to redefine the office environment by furniture and design. She collaborated with many architects to design furniture, from the Eames, Saarinen, Plattner, Mies van der Rohe, the A-list furniture designer architects, if you will. And she's created, along with her husband Hans Knoll, created an empire that I still use, many people around the world use today when specifying furniture to create a new office environment. I am a licensed interior designer. I am involved with legislation in my state to help separate decoration from design. Many times I have to compete in business against decorators, people that are not licensed or took the time to intern, graduate from an accredited university, giving me all the basis to be licensed as an interior designer. And Florence Knoll had the same ideals. She understood the difference between the two, being that we are selecting finishes for the safety and welfare of the public. So it was really important to create a definition between decoration and design. And a goal of mine is what Florence Knoll has done and does is I want to make my work have meaning. I want my design work to be beyond aesthetics. I want it to function. I want it to improve the users in the space, whether it's a healing environment or just more productive, happier environment in the workspace. And I hope to one day be like Florence Knoll, but that is why I selected the Florence Knoll armchair. I hope I gave you all a great example of furniture representing our creators. It was really fun to do, and it was a good exercise for myself, especially filming this whole project. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you will remember our creators as furniture.